Folks, the only event that could quite possibly top Monterey Car Week or even come close to Monterey Car Week would be Dream Ride. We're here at Sparkys' house, a little prelude to the actual show that's going on. We have a Koenigsegg Jesko. We have the world record car, Koenigsegg Agera, a lot of familiar cars from Monterey Car Week. We have a Koenigsegg Regera, another Koenigsegg Agera. We have Shmee 150 in his Ford GT. Shmee just waved to me. McLaren 750S, the all-new Lamborghini Revuelto, a BMW M4 and a Volkswagen Tiguan, and a Lamborghini Urus. Ooh, did you just scrape? I heard a little. Folks, just when you thought the supercars were not coming in any longer, we have a Lamborghini Countach with the driver door open. We have an OG4 GT. We have a Gulf livery OG4 GT. Wait. There's a Gulf 4 GT sandwich here, folks. One Gulf 4 GT, Lamborghini Diablo, and another Gulf 4 GT. I think they only made like 300 and something of these cars, and there's two of them right here. Folks, you know it's a big property when there's an entire section dedicated to Lamborghinis. We have the SVJ63 right here. To my left, we have the Super Veloce, of course, but that's not all. The Lamborghini section continues. We have a Grigio Telesto, Aventador Ultime. To my left, a first generation Aventador. And keeping things in pairs, folks, we have two Lamborghini Revueltos. We're gonna go through these pretty quickly because there's about 1 million cars here. We have a gentleman spec 812 GTS, 765 LT Spider, incredible car. Another gentleman spec SF90, a red McLaren 750S, which has something very cool on it. We'll show you in a second. GTC for Lusso. I'll never be able to differentiate the two here, folks. Maybe one day I'll figure it out. But back to the 750S, I don't think I've ever seen one. I don't know if it's an MSO option or the customer just put it on after the fact, but it has a fully carbon fiber bumper. You don't see that too often, folks. Folks, to my left was the sub-$1 million section. To my right is the $1 million+ section. I would say these check off over $1 million, folks. I think each and every one of them. Well, there's a 992 GT3 RS here. That's not $1 million, but it might be the only car that's not $1 million in the back of this absolutely massive driveway. We're kicking things off in the Koenigsegg section. We have two world record cars here. The 0 to 400 kilometer Jesko, which I don't know how fast that is in miles per hour, and the 277.9 mile per hour Agera RS. There's RS, XS, there's HH. I'm getting confused with all of them. But we have another Agera here in a slightly brighter paint color. A Ferrari 599 right behind that. Aston Martin Zagato right behind that. Oh, and of course, we also saw this pulling into the drive. A Koenigsegg Regera. I just called it a 599, folks. It's a 599 Aperta, super limited edition, super sick. Very uneducated and uncultured. But here it is in all of its glory. Right next to whatever this is. What is this? I'm gonna read it. It's called Hispano Luizza. Hispano Luizza. I knew that. It looks like it's like a body kit off of a pre-existing chassis. I don't know. Somebody's gonna humble me in the comments so quickly. Look at this wing. This can't be aerodynamic. How is that aerodynamic, folks? You just have two carbon fiber pieces poking out in opposite directions. What a ridiculous car. It's probably cool though. I want to do a review on it. And of course, a fully exposed carbon fiber Gunter Works Speedster. We've left the Koenigsegg section. We're now in the Bugatti section with Jacob Arabo's fully custom, fully tailor-made Bugatti Chiron Super Sport. And if you thought that was the only Chiron Super Sport, you'd be mildly incorrect because there's another one directly to my left here. And an identical opposite spec Bugatti Chiron that was delivered on the same day, but this one's a Pure Sport. Can you imagine getting two Bugattis delivered in one day? Folks, the Bugatti section's not over without a little tribute to our old classic friend, the EB110. Look at how little the grill is. Bugatti's come a long way. It's like BMW. The grills used to be really little, and now they're really big. We finished Koenigsegg, we finished Bugatti, and of course, now we're on Pagani. Fully exposed carbon Wyra, fully exposed red carbon Utopia, another fully exposed red carbon Wyra BC. A gorgeous, almost looks like Monterey blue paint on this fully exposed carbon Wyra. Oh, and this is Big Bird. This is Big Bird, folks. The yellow Wyra. One of the coolest cars of the show, folks. It doesn't get more iconic than Shmee's Ford GT in the States, all the way from across the pond, folks. He went to Monterey. He's back on the East Coast. He's all over. I think he's visited more states in the United States than me, and I live in the United States. It's obviously a gorgeous spec. I did see this car when I was 18 or 19 years old at Lamborghini of Long Island, and I completely fanboyed, and here I am with that same car again. Some honorable mentions in the back here, folks. We have a cruising car spec, 992 GT3 RS, a Lamborghini Countach, and then, of course, the Spyker C8, La Violette, a term that I learned from our dearest friend Ed Bowling. And if we'll spin around here, we'll find an insane spec. I know it's just silver paint, but it has this bright blue interior and dark blue carbon all throughout on this McLaren Senna. Speaking of McLaren, folks, naturally, we have the 1 of 15 McLaren Sabre, and right next to it, a Christian car spec, McLaren Senna. And Jack, if you'll turn around, we'll have Brian Solomon's purple. And this might be one of the first purple Rivoltos we've ever seen. We were too busy admiring the actual Pagani's to notice this, but it just caught our eye, and we need to show you because it's probably the first time you're ever gonna see a Pagani Huayra statue. You think Horatio like chiseled that? Like, he was like, bop, bop. It's never too early for a Whopper, folks. Where's the burger? There's like $20 million of supercars behind me, and my loud, obnoxious self is eating a Burger King Whopper, so. 11:30 a.m. Mark's having one too. Big Bird! I can't tell you who Big Bird is, but it's a very special guest who's been featured on our channel multiple times. Big Bird! Big Bird! Can I get a picture? I'm your biggest fan. I'm your biggest fan. Big Bird, what's the word?
The word of the day. I'm sweating while I'm getting petted.
Pew! We're still not telling you who it is, but if you can't guess by now, you haven't watched the channel long enough.
That's my word. I love being Big Bird.
Oh! Shake those feathers, Big Bird. We're getting ready to wrap up here and go over to Dream Ride, but we have to mention the Ferrari 812 Comp. It's one of the best things to come out of Ferrari in a very long time. I don't want to get hit by this Koenigsegg Regera with blue carbon fiber wheels, just casually passing down the driveway. We're wrapping up at the castle here. It was an absolute spectacle, folks, and now we're off to Dream Ride. We've arrived here at Dream Ride, and we promised ourselves that we were only gonna film like top-end supercars for the YouTube video. May I introduce you to the world's longest limousine golf cart. Might be the coolest thing we've ever seen. Again, we were only gonna do hypercars, supercars, but you can't skip out on the old Beef Frank Mobile. It's the best car at the show, easily. This may be the only time we see 3 Lamborghini Huracan Dorados off-roading all right next to each other with a big wiener truck right behind it. Folks, we stumbled upon another Aventador Superlace Auto 63. This one in a very Christmas-oriented spec. The guy probably loves Christmas. Ladies and gentlemen, La Ferrari numero uno, and to my izquierda, La Ferrari numero dos. While I was practicing my Spanish, talking about the 2 La Ferraris that we just saw, I almost glazed over the Monza SP1. I'm not that guy. I'm that guy's brother. 2 very special pieces behind me out of the company Ferrari. The Pista Piloti, which I believe is just a race version of the already race car Pista, and I'm not exactly sure why they're so expensive, but they are so expensive. And then to my left, a green with carbon fiber wheel, 812 Comp, Aperta. At this point, I think we spotted most of the Huayras in the Northeast, but we have a blue one right here, and to my right, we have another blue one that's fully exposed carbon fiber. We've now made it over to Aston Martin Row, where we have the Speedster, a car that you very rarely see, which is absolutely fantastic. And then we have the Aston Martin Velour. I've yet to get some details on it and know exactly what it's about, but I know it's got a manual transmission, which a lot of people like. It looks pretty cool, and Gordon Ramsay has one, and he's a good cook, so. Folks, I got 5 words for you. Senna, Sabre, Speedtail, P1 Elva. Those are the 5 hypercars behind me. Here we have the Sabre, fully MSO spec. It's the road legal US version of the Speedtail, which is right behind it in this gorgeous red color, as most of these hypercar McLarens are. Right next to it, my favorite, personally, of the Holy Trinity, the McLaren P1. Again, gorgeous red paint color. To the left of that, we have the McLaren Senna, which you've seen multiple times on the channel here, folks. But what you haven't seen multiple times on the channel here, folks, is the open top McLaren Elva. That's a spectacle, an absolute spectacle. I don't know what a spectacle means, but it sounds proper for the situation. Folks, we made it to the end of our Dream Ride trip, and what better way to end off than the 4-seater, 2,300 horsepower family sedan from Sweden. It's Swedish, it's from Sweden. And on that note, on that very good note, we'll see you next time. I'm about to put on a hot dog thing, so.